So I made a video here on the footballchronicle.com yesterday going over the Premier League and how the race for the Champions League is hotting up. While the championship title is pretty much decided and those three sides that are going down are pretty much decided, there is a lot still to fight for there. But a much more exciting division, in my opinion, as usual, given the closeness of it, is the EFL Championship, the second tier of English professional football, where the prize on offer is, of course, a ticket to the Premier League, the big time as it was in not only English, but arguably world football as well. So there are 2 match days remaining in the Championship. 44 games have been completed out of 46, and there are some things that have been decided. The 2 sides that are going to go up to the Premier League automatically has been decided. Those sides that are going down, the relegation battle to avoid going into League One is really, really intense, and the battle for the playoff places is also really, really interesting as well. So let's dive in, guys. Let's have a look at what's going to happen in these final 2 match days and where everybody stands, in my opinion, because pretty much every single side has something to play for here. So like I said in the intro there, Leeds United and Burnley have both been promoted to the Premier League. As a Sheffield United fan, that is very much a gut punch really when it comes to that, but they deserve it. They both beat us home and away throughout this season, so I've got no problem with that. We have only ourselves to blame. I mean, look at our form, look at Sheffield United's form. 4 losses in the previous 5 games, and given our form in the playoffs over the years, we have had 9 playoff campaigns from 9 different managers, and we have never been promoted from any of them. Given our form at the moment, I'm not too confident really. Sunderland, they should be a bit worried as well, actually, in fairness. 3 losses in a row, no wins in their previous 4 games. The Black Cats, I mean, they've got a pretty poor playoff record as well. They're not looking too good either, which is encouraging for me, because I really do think that Sunderland are the biggest threat to go up in the playoffs. I mean, I'm not gonna say my playoff predictions. I'm just gonna say who's gonna get into the playoffs. But you know, I think it's gonna be an interesting battle for sure. So Sheffield United are mathematically there. They are in the playoffs, as are Sunderland. There's only 6 more points to play for. But behind them, 5th, 6th, 7th, it is all really, really close between these guys. So 2 teams from Bristol City, Coventry City, Middlesbrough, Millwall and Blackburn could make it into the playoffs. Mathematically, West Brom are not out of this yet, but realistically they are. Same with Swansea as well, mathematically not out of it either, but given their poor goal difference, it's asking an absolute miracle there, as it is for West Brom as well. They would have to win both of their games, and pretty much everybody above them, especially Coventry, would have to lose their last 2 games, which, hey, it's the Championship, you know, it's really, really close and competitive, but I think that's a bridge too far even for that, to be honest. So I think it's realistically between those clubs from 5th down to 9th. 2 from 5 will go up through the playoffs. We'll go into the playoffs, I should say, with that. Let's have a look at these guys' fixtures, though. So Bristol City, their last 2 games of the season, Leeds away. Now that's interesting because Leeds have got an incredible home record, but they are promoted automatically. They are, of course, going to try and get the Championship title. They're, of course, going to try and get 100 points this season. And that Monday match against Bristol City is a golden opportunity to be able to do that. I mean, that would be tough. It'd be very tough for them to get a result out of that, and I think that could really open the door going into the final day. Preston at home, though, I would back Bristol City to beat Preston. I mean, they beat Sunderland pretty impressively at Ashton Gate recently, so I'm going to give Bristol... So let's keep a running tally of all this so we know where everybody stands. So Bristol City, I'm going to put on 70 points. I think they'll lose against Leeds, and I think they'll beat Preston in their final game of the season. Next up is Coventry City. They're the other side that are in the playoff places. And by the way, both of these guys are sitting fairly pretty at the end of the day. You know, I mean, they're 3 points or 4 points ahead of Middlesbrough and Millwall in 7th and 8th. So they've got that cushion there. But how are Cov going to get on? Because their form's been a little patchy recently. It's not been the best. It's not been the worst either, in fact. But at the same time, losing against Plymouth's still not relegated. They are very much still fighting. And we'll talk about the relegation battle after the playoff battle. They've got Luton Town away next, Coventry, and honestly with Luton I think they've got a chance of staying up. They are in a bit of decent form right now, so I'm going to go with Luton to win that. And the final match day, Middlesbrough at home, the team that are currently in 7th. That is a playoff to get into the playoffs, a pre-playoff, if you will. You know, I'm going to go over draw. I'm going to sit on the fence there. I'm going to go over draw with that one. But speaking of Middlesbrough, let's have a look at their games. So that puts Coventry on to 67. So Bristol City, I should say, on 70, and Coventry on 67. But what about Middlesbrough? I gave them a point against Coventry, so they're on 64 with that. Norwich at home, I think they'll win. Norwich have just sacked their manager, haven't they? They're in terrible form at the moment. They are really, really struggling. So, yeah, I'm going to put them on 67 as well. And that would mean that Middlesbrough would sneak into the playoffs because of the better goal difference there, presumably. A plus 10 compared to a Coventry plus 5 there. So, yeah, I think that does put Bristol City and Middlesbrough realistically into the playoffs, unless somebody like Millwall could do better. Who have Millwall got? They've got Swansea at home. Now, Swansea, of course, like I said, mathematically still have a chance of getting into the playoffs, realistically not. I think they'll beat Swansea at home. Swansea have been very patchy, to say the least. So I'm going to go with Millwall to get a victory there. And then Burnley away. I mean, again, Burnley are going to be in party mode. Burnley never lose. Burnley are on such an unbeaten run at the moment. I think Burnley will probably win that one, to be honest. So that would put Millwall on 66 at that point. And it's really a moot point, but I'll just go over Blackburn. I think even if... Blackburn could do it. If they win both their games, they'd be on 68, and I've put Middlesbrough in 6th on 67. Now, Blackburn were very much looking like a good side to get into the playoffs, but they sacked the manager, John Eustace left the club, I should say. My apologies. And since then, they've been really patchy, but they've got some good wins together. They're on a good run at the moment. They beat Luton away, that's not easy. Beat Sunderland away, smashed Millwall at home. And, I think they'll beat Watford in the next game. But my team, Sheffield United, oh God, I mean, trying to predict United is nigh on impossible at this point. But I will back the Blades to at least get a draw. Blackburn would have to win both games to get into the playoffs. So I'm looking at those fixtures for those sides. I'm going to back Bristol City and Middlesbrough to make it into the playoffs.